Christ is risen.
Indeed he is risen.
Christos voskres. Christ is risen.
Indeed he is risen.
The only begotten Son has made him known. Jesus Christ has brought to the disciples, to the church, to the world, and to ourselves the full revelation of God the Father and the full revelation of his love, which is so powerful that not even death can hold it. And so, at least for a few days, we see the early church in peace, together. It says that they all devoted themselves to constant prayer. But I think the original text emphasizes a little bit more that they were all together in one accord. They were all together of one mind and one heart in this revelation of God that Jesus Christ had given to them. If we really embrace that revelation, it will unite all of us. No matter what our difficulties with one another might be, what our disagreements might be, it's all just straw in comparison to the revelation of God the Father that we as the church have been entrusted with. And if we focus ourselves, if we give ourselves, devote ourselves with one accord to constant prayer, like the early disciples did in the upper room, then nothing else will matter. We'll be far too absorbed in spreading the wonderful good news of the resurrection to start fighting with each other. But of course, the early church eventually, as all still fallen human people will, started to fight, started to splinter, started to have its arguments even. But not yet. Not yet. These are still the glorious days when they gathered together in the upper room. Gathered together in that room where they had that most intimate revelation of Christ in the Last Supper, where he told them that he'd chosen them, called them his friends, and then sent them out to go and bear fruit that will last. And so we see the church gathered together in prayer, gathered together with Mary, the mother of Jesus, with all 11 of the remaining apostles together. And then Peter stands up and says, we have an empty place to fill. And once again, as always, we see Peter taking the lead under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. What a wonderful picture of how the church can be. Gathered around Mary, gathered around Peter, gathered in the upper room, in the place of the Eucharist, all of one accord, devoting themselves to constant prayer. That's an image that I think the church has not really lived up to since those days, but it's an icon. It's an icon that we can continue to strive towards. And so the lot fell to Matthias, and he was appointed apostle in Judas's place. But remember, they're all consumed with the message that they have, the message that Christ is risen from the dead, the message of the good news. And after they're empowered with the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, we find that Matthias preached all over the world, but especially in the country that today we know as Georgia. And in the meantime, Joseph Justus, who was not an apostle, but still later we're told became a bishop, he preached in a town in Palestine. He became Bishop of Eleutheropolis, I think you pronounce it, somewhere in Palestine. And I hope that there would be a better geographic clue as to whereabouts it is, but there was nothing that really made sense to me. But he was bishop in that city, and along with a lot of his, with a lot of the people from the same place, was martyred and killed or sent into slavery under Vespasian in the year 68. So he may not have been an apostle, but Bishop Joseph Justus, one of the 70, still preached the good news of the resurrection to the end of the earth, as did the new apostle Matthias, and as you, me, and every member of the church since that glorious Easter morning are also called to do. Christ is risen.
He is risen.
Christ